basketball coming your way, and fans ready here to watch their Horned Frogs at home take on the Mountaineers. We welcome you courtside, John Sciambi and Fran Fraschilla. Franny, a couple of teams that were anticipated to be two of the top teams in this league, and they've gotten off to rough starts. For West Virginia, they've never been 0-4 to begin Big 12 play. TCU coming off a heartbreaker against Oklahoma. So what do you need? They need guys to step up. Both teams certainly had guys step up in their last game. Losses, however.
Exactly. 30 points plus from James Beetle Boulder at West Virginia. He had 29 in the second half against Oklahoma State. And Quat Noy, who has been a starter off the bench, will start tonight. He was electrifying at Oklahoma, hot from deep, making 8 threes.
So West Virginia's had their fair share of struggles. Bob Huggins trying to figure out what to do with his roster, with his starters. For more on the Mountaineers, we welcome in the third member of our team. Here's Chris Budd.
Thanks, John. Issa Ahmad and Wesley Harris will play today. Harris is actually in the starting lineup. They were benched the last game against Oklahoma State because they were not living up to the expectations, both attitude and performance, for Bob Huggins. He even told us, hey, they might have had a better chance of winning against Oklahoma State if they were in the lineup, but at this point, it's more about wins and losses and more about development of his players.
All right, so Issa Ahmad here tonight will come off the bench. And as Chris mentioned, Harris getting the start. TCU controls, and immediately it's Noy hoisting, can't hit, and Bolden the other way.
Now, he was trying to continue that hot streak that he had in Norman. Good look, quick. Plays with a lot of confidence.
Feed inside. Harris couldn't hold on to it. And the Horned Frogs the other way. It's Desmond Bain coming off a 9-point performance in the loss at Oklahoma. He played 39 minutes. Gets that one to go.
West Virginia, John, they opened the game with a turnover, and that has been really one of the keys to this disappointing start. Very, very high turnover rate, about once every 5 possessions.
And a foul on TCU. Well, Bob Huggins, 4th all-time, or I should say 4th in terms of active wins, and a guy who's had an amazing career. And here he is, 12th season at his alma mater. Great player for the Mountaineers. There's a bucket from Lamont West.
And we actually have 2 former players coaching at their alma maters, both outstanding in the backcourt. Jamie Dixon, the other. Bob Huggins, 29 20-plus win seasons. Think about that for a second.
Here's Noy as he swings it, and J.D. Miller now. Got to look at Alex Robinson. Of course, no Jalen Fisher, out for the foreseeable future is the way Jamie Dixon said it. You mentioned Bob Huggins played and is now coaching at his alma mater. Same story for this guy. 3rd season as the TCU head coach.
Played point guard on some great Jim Killingsworth teams. Couple of Southwest Conference titles.
Got them to the NCAA tournament last year for the first time since the late 90s. It's been a while. That
is another turnover. And the average college team turns it over about once every 6 possessions, Bob. This West Virginia team, it's about once every 4 to 5. And you just can't give away possessions on the offensive end like that. Of course, they're missing a great backcourt that's gone on to graduation.
Yeah, John Carter, Daxter Miles. Carter, who got his first NBA start for the Grizzlies last night, at a tall task in dealing with James Harden.
He probably wished he wasn't starting last night, because James torched. What do you have? 17 in the first quarter, right? Ended up in 50 some odd points.
James Bolden, by the way, just picked up his 2nd foul, so he'll grab a seat. And Chase Harler will come into the game. Meanwhile, for Bolden, of the 31 points, which is a career high in their loss against Oklahoma State, 29 were the second half.
Well, and the reason was he got in foul trouble in the first half, and he's done the same thing. That's an air ball. That's surprising.
That's the 2nd time he's missed badly in this game. And a foul on TCU. Checking into the game for the Mountaineers. Here he comes, the freshman Derek Culver from Youngstown, Ohio, Brewster Academy. He's a good-looking player.
He really is. He is a load inside, 6'10", about 250. off to a great start to his West Virginia career. He didn't play the first half of the season. It's pretty clear that he had some, let's just say, attitude adjustment issues. And they seem to have him worked out. And the kid so far has been very easy to coach here the first couple weeks he's been on the floor. He does play hard, and he is a big body.
West steps back, three, got it. Lamont West.
Well, there's weaponry on this West Virginia team, John, and one of the big things, as I mentioned, you just got to take care of the ball and give these guys a chance to score points.
If you think I'm going to let it slide, that you called me Bob Wishoes and my former BC
I said Bob John. I said Bob John.
Let's go.
Didn't you hear me say Bob John? Listen, he's been my roommate for like 3 weeks, okay?
Feed inside. And that one a little too strong from Wesley Harris. And down the other way, it's J.D. Miller.
West Virginia is shadowing Alex Robinson with Haley. Haley's not in any kind of help position. He's just going to try to keep Robinson from getting the ball.
Robinson, their outstanding assist man, will finish his career as the all-time assist leader in TCU history. That one flipped up, no good. Rebound there by Samuel. They'll kick it out.
Yes.
And start it back up.
I love it. Yeah, you know what? He grabbed that rebound outside the paint. He knew he didn't have much. Kicked it right out. New possession, new shot clock.
Noy jump stop, finger roll wouldn't go. And that one tipped out of bounds. It'll stay TCU basketball. And Issa Ahmad will check into the game for the first time. And he'll replace Wesley Harris.
You look at West Virginia, that front line is as formidable as anybody in the Big 12. And the key to the 0-4 start, honestly, has been backcourt play. Mentioned the turnovers, but the backcourt play has been below average. And there's an example.
Yeah, right there. Culver and Ahmad, two guys that had a chance to come up with that. And Bain was stepping on the baseline.
John Higgins said that Bain was still in the air when he came back from out of bounds.
So West Virginia basketball. And John Higgins saying back he was out of bounds to begin with. Jump in the air. There's Robinson, steal. Finger roll wouldn't go, but Harler with the foul. And our first timeout. When we come back, nice surprise from the head coach to a former walk-on. On scholarship for the spring semester. And the rest of the players went nuts. Pretty cool moment right there. Congratulations to Owen, and obviously scholarship available because of they had 3 players that have transferred out. More on that. Here's Chris Button.
John, a lot of these scholarship kind of productions are in the works for a couple weeks. This was 15 minutes that Jamie Dixon had the idea before he pulled it off. But you need a sheriff or a cop in order to do it. They didn't have one, so parts of the staff roamed the campus until they found a cop to help pull it off. I'm
glad the kid didn't have any. He didn't cop to anything he might have done. Like, yeah, I did it. Yeah. I took the textbooks from the library.
Well, the other thought would be tracking down a police officer. Officer, we need your help. What is it? Is someone in trouble? No, we need you for a video to tell someone that they're getting a scholarship. Okay. And Robinson getting bumped there on the outside. West Virginia by a point, just getting going here from Schollmeyer Arena. John Shambi and Fran Fraschilla here as the Horned Frogs inbound. How good can this TCU team be when they get things right?
Yeah, if they can get Jalen Fisher back, who's not on the bench tonight, and he's suffering from a knee injury. This is a terrific backcourt. This is a good team. It's a top 25 level team, but the schedule and the injuries have set them back. But it's not like they're chopped liver. They're a good basketball team. I mean, 12-3, and you think the world's falling apart.
Desmond Bain knocks down the jumper, and the Horned Frogs with the lead.
And that young man is quietly one of the best scorers in this league. Now a junior. Jamie Dixon was fortunate enough to sign him when he was hired out of Richmond, Indiana, right on the Ohio border.
Averaging about 14 points a game. Air ball, kick up ahead. Here's Miller. Reverses it, and there is Bain with the follow.
That's great hustle. J.D. Miller goes coast to coast, catches that ball like a tight end. Doesn't finish it. West Virginia right now without Bolden because he's essentially fouled himself out of the first half. Very little offensive punch on the floor, except for maybe this guy inside.
Yeah, there's Culver as he absorbs the contact.
This is all effort, John. Watch Bain come into your picture. Only one other white jersey. It's going to follow that up, and that's where he is. Seton Catholic High School. A graduating class, he told me last week, of about 20. Relatively new high school, and one of the best players in Indiana 3 years ago. Number 4 in the voting in Mr. Basketball. Did not have a major college offer until Texas Christian University offered, and he's been a mainstay here.
See Culver, the bank was open for that last free throw. 62% from the line. He's averaging just a shade under 13 points a game, a little over 9 rebounds a game.
You mentioned that great Brewster program, Coach Jason Smith up there. They've had, among others, Donovan Mitchell, T.J. Warren, of course, Devontae Graham, this guy, one of the great prep programs in the country. That's good D.
Robinson feed inside. A couple of ball fakes, and it will go as J.D. Miller absorbs the contact, and he'll go to the line. Nicely done.
Now he should have gone up right away. Watch this right now. Catch it, go up. Uses the bounce. Now that brings traffic, but is able to finish it, pick up the foul, and potentially the N1. The senior from right here in the mid-cities, Seagoville High School. He's been a workmanlike player for Jamie Dixon for 4 years. Trent Johnson recruited him.
The offensive rebound after the miss, and Horned Frogs looking to add to a 3-point advantage. Miller, travel, and they turn it over. TCU coming off a tough loss at Oklahoma, a game Jamie Dixon's group really felt like they should have won. In the end, it was Christian James with the bucket. In the final seconds, it was the difference. Christian Doolittle, yeah.
Well, that game, I watched that game, and you know what? There's very little to determine which team is better. I mean, those are two good basketball teams, 2 NCAA teams.
Now, one of the things with Oklahoma, it's a team that's got a lot of experience.
Yes, they do. Tougher defensively this year, aren't they? They've really committed to the defensive end.
Gordon. And a feed inside, that one gets away.
That's just another turnover. You just can't have empty possessions like that.
Robinson off the mark. Rebound pulled down there by Emmett Matthews Jr.
Some good pieces on this West Virginia team. But they've got to make sure they get opportunities to score every time down.
Matthews not able to hit. And inconsistent with his shot. Nice feed. And Robinson getting inside to getting the basketball inside and finding Miller. That was well done.
Yeah, he's got as good a vision as anybody you'll see. Second in the country in assists. Take a look now. He draws 2 defenders, and he throws a bounce pass with some oomph on it. This is terrific. 2 defenders. Creates the open opportunity, and then J.D. Miller picks up the foul.
And again, 8.1 assists per game, second in college basketball. Jumper from the corner, and there's Kawhi. He had 8 threes in posting that 30-point game last time out in Oklahoma.
Well, he hasn't been a starter, so maybe he just has to get comfortable because those first 2 3-point attempts were way off the mark. But
I thought it was amazing that it's the first time a TCU player has scored 30 in a game since 2012. That's a while.
yeah.
Noy Robinson.
Can't
Noy
get him
will
that.
try again.
Huh?
He's missed a few badly. Napper. And there's Gordon, had it blocked. And now a foul inside on West Virginia. Bob Huggins' team off to a rough start in conference, trailing here tonight by 6.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile. Boost makes it easy to swim.
Some blonde just.
Well, a reminder, Super Tuesday presented by Boost Mobile tonight, 9 Eastern. And you got Notre Dame at number 13, North Carolina. And again, Super Tuesday, our game right here on ESPNU, and that's coming up tonight in the ACC.
The Tar Heels coming off a bad loss at home to Louisville.
I mean, as bad
Bad
a
as it
loss
gets.
at
Yeah.
home as they've had.
Yep. Mike Bray's got a very young basketball team, some exciting young guys.
What do you make of Roy Williams' team? They had a good win in the middle of December against Gonzaga.
They got beat by Texas in Las Vegas. They've been they don't have a pure point guard. That's, if you want to talk about the coaching style, whatever, they don't have a pure point guard like they've had so many times in the past. And that's a big Achilles heel. Kobe White's a great freshman. He's a real good scorer, but not what I'd call a playmaker.
West Virginia, the Mountaineers have scored on one of their last 10 possessions. That's helped lead to a 12-2 TCU run. West off balance, not able to hit. Offensive rebound, and he corrals it, flips it up, no good. And Mayan in the game, finally healthy.
Yep. Cousin of Kwat Noy right there. Oh, he lost it.
Lost the handle. And then inside, it's Samuel doing the dirty work.
Yeah, this young man, John, getting better and better by the game, Kevin Samuel. He redshirted a year ago. He's from the island of Barbuda. About 1,600 people. I talked to him last week. I said, does everybody know you? He said, oh, yeah. I said, is everybody kind of related? He said, yeah, pretty much.
And last foul, Derek Culver, that's his second. Logan Rout about to check into the game.
You know, I checked Ken Pom keeps stats on how often coaches use players in the first half with 2 fouls. And for the most part, Bob Huggins is as conservative as any coach in the country at playing a guy with 2 fouls. Beetle Bolden only played 6 minutes in the first half on Saturday. He's played 2 tonight. I don't think we'll see him back until the start of the second half. That's another bad pass. That should be a bounce pass in the post. But then that's an inexperienced freshman.
Bain right at the rim, puts it in. Nice move, strong. Desmond Bain.
Right now, the Mountaineers are just shooting themselves in the foot. The inability to take care of the ball, which has been a season-long problem.
Another turnover, Noy. And wow, did they get the intentional there?
They did. They did. I'll just say this, John. I've said it a couple times in other games. The West Virginia backboard is just not good enough. These kids are just not at the level right now they need to be at to have success. And Bob Huggins has tried just about everybody. Played 15 guys this year. 11 different players have started.
Yep.
And you see, that's in the idea of the officials. He did not play the ball.
I think that's a fair call there.
Yes. I just think that I know it's ancient history now, but when you see Beetle Bolden 2 fouls. We did a Pittsburgh game early in the year where we had a great second half after picking up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes. So he's a junior now. He's got to learn. I would let a guy score on me as opposed to picking up a second foul, which is going to harness me to the bench the rest of the half.
Let's bring in Chris Button.
Yeah, Bob Huggins walking up and down his bench, looking at his guys, kind of wondering, who the heck am I going to be able to put in now with all these fouls and guys not playing up to my expectations? Kind of at a loss for words right now.
Yeah, and I would play guys with 2 fouls. I would. This is a situation where if it were me and this guy's got 800 wins, I would play him in the first half.
Yeah, I get you.
Now, you got nothing to lose.
Bain inside, lost the handle. Late call from John Higgins. And the foul there. Well, Bob Huggins already played 11 here tonight. We mentioned Jalen Fisher being out for TCU. Take another look.
Contact.
Yeah, that foul will be on Matthews.
You know, it's a different team. I don't think anybody who follows Mountaineer basketball would ever have thought that the loss of Carter and Miles would be this dramatic. Javon's off to the NBA. Dax is in the G League. But the backcourt play has got to improve and quickly. And again, turnovers have just been a season-long issue.
I mean, they were special guys, and they leaned on those two. There's no doubt. But I get what you're saying. You know, the jumper good for Wesley Harris. The other thing you mentioned, Bolden in that Pitt game, that was the last time that Sagaba Konate played in a game. And yes, Konate is a big shot blocker for them and just a big presence overall. Miller inside. I mean, point blank, and couldn't finish.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not sure he'll be back. I'm not sure. I don't think he'll be back this season. I don't get a vibe from the staff that he'll play again, and maybe he'll go off to the NBA. They've got a terrific freshman coming in Oscar Shibwe, who's a monster up there in northwest Pennsylvania, up by Youngstown, Kennedy Catholic. Culver's going to be a good player. Harris is back, but backcourt play's got to improve also. You know, when Javon Carter was a freshman, people forget, like, he wasn't a savior. You had Gary Brown and Juwan Staten and Tariq Phillip, Jay Sean Page, the JUCO guys. They had 6 quality guards. And you know, Tariq Phillip was a guy that didn't have to score a point. All he cared about was winning. And I don't see that on this West Virginia team right now. There's nobody that I look at and said, this guy's a leader.
The only thing I would say, and again, it doesn't mean that other players can't have the opportunity to do it. The only thing I would say in terms of Javon Carter and watching them last year, they leaned on him so hard. There was an element, and just my vantage point, that they would kind of sit and wait. When's JC going to bail us out here?
Yeah, yes, I agree with that. He was a security blanket.
Yes, defensively and offensively.
Absolutely.
Robinson, shot clock under 10, feed inside, and a slam dunk there from Samuel.
Again, pick and roll. The coverage was 2 on the ball. They didn't rotate from the weak side, and then A-Rob will pick you apart. He's got great vision.
Robinson, as good a passer as you'll find in the college game, and continues to find guys cutting to the rim. They've got 10 points in the paint, and it seems like Robinson is the one dealing off.
Yeah, well, he sees it all. He sees the other 4 defenders, which makes him a great passer. He's not worried about his man.
Right. Shot clock winding down. Haley inside. Does Rout even know that the shot clock is winding down? And a violation. I don't even know that I would say that that was such great defense. It was just kind of a wandering possession. Yes. 8th turnover, 8 now on the Mountaineers.
And in 11 minutes.
Yeah. And again, you look at that turnover margin.
Well,
from the penthouse to the,
yeah, last year they were 37th in the country in taking care of the ball. This year they're 304, and that's dramatic. If you give me, you know, the great thing about West Virginia during the Press Virginia era was they were great on the offensive glass, which they still are. They turned you over defensively. So even when they didn't shoot the ball, Bob, John, they did it again.
it's okay.
They would have 10, 11, 12, 13 more field goal attempts.
Yeah.
Right now, they're only getting one more field goal attempt than their opponents, which is very non-traditional. That was a nice drive.
Very well done there by Andrew Gordon.
Only a sophomore, former high school football player.
Ahmad with a good hand, quickly deflecting that. It remains TCU basketball. 8:07 to go here in the first half. John Chomby, Fran Fraschilla, Chris Button, Bob Wischusen watching somewhere. 23-13, TCU on top. And Lakes up. Davis checks in, and Lat Mayan will sit. They get it into Miller now. Robinson will bring it up.
Bob Huggins likes Haley. Jermaine Haley on the ball. JUCO transfer.
He is long at 6'7". From the corner, it's Davis. Got it. There's a three.
Guess what? He got another assist. That time the defense collapsed on the roller to the rim. And that left Davis in the corner.
It's our under 8 timeout. 13-point advantage, TCU.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Whoa, stop right there.
Lane on the point guard, he scores inside, and then tonight, Bob, similar play, little elbow ball screen. Watch the weak side defender get there a little too late. He still drops it into Samuel. And again, you got to be able to recognize. I talk about pick and roll this way. 3 levels of pick and roll. It's me and my man. That's level 1. And no, that's no problem for anybody. Level 2 is the screener and his man. But he's great at level 3 pick and roll. He sees the other 3 defenders and finds the open man. He's as good as there is in the country at passing it. I think he should have picked this up. See, that's a freshman mistake. If he knows it's an over and back, run and pick it up quickly and start dribbling and make the official think that it was off of TCU. I would have picked it up right away and given him the act and pointing at the TCU player saying, it's off him, I got it. Instead, once he let the ball roll into the backcourt, official had no choice but to call it over and back.
Now there is James Bolden back into the game as they're down by 13, a little under 7.5 to go.
Yeah, good choice. I think you got to play him, and he's got to be judicious on defense.
Davis, well done.
Yeah. You think Davis is smart enough to know that Bolden had 2 fouls? I think he is. He is a good young player, a little fire hydrant. Playing a lot of good minutes for this TCU team.
Gordon lost the handle, another turnover.
Yeah, this young guy had a terrific career at Sam Houston High School in Houston. He's open inside.
Had Samuel for a second. Bain didn't find him. And then Miller gets fouled on the floor.
Here's Kendrick Davis again. Take a look at this little ball fake. He'll drive it, get Bolden up in the air, little step through. He committed to Jamie Dixon at the end of his sophomore year in high school, before really a lot of the bigger, not that TCU isn't a big school, it's in the Big 12, but he got a lot of interest. But by that time, he'd already committed to TCU, and they got themselves a good young guard who wasn't expected to play much this year, but because of the injury of Fisher, Chris, he's doing a pretty good job.
He is, and when Jamie Dixon was at Pitt, he said, I don't want to go there. It's too far. I got to be close to home. It's a little too cold, too. So when Dixon came over here to TCU, he offered him. He said, sure, 3 hours up the road from Houston, that's where I'd like to be. His mom and dad have tried to come to every game.
That's an interesting point, Chris, because Alex Robinson, whose mom played at TCU at the same time that Jamie Dixon did, he took a visit to Pittsburgh. He thought it was too cold, and he wound up on the rebound, getting together with the guy that recruited him to Pittsburgh.
Bolden able to knock down the shot. Of course, Robinson, who began his career at Texas A&M.
Hey, by the way, I mentioned Pittsburgh. What a great job Jeff Capel's doing. I'm just telling you, they did not win an ACC game last year. And they are in contention for postseason. Tremendous job.
Loose ball, and eventually it's Wesley Harris coming up with it. Well, Saturday, a huge day for sports fans. Got a full day action lined up. Thunder and Sixers at 3:30. Then Virginia and Duke, Lakers and Rockets, and some UFC. And we'll be back to Fort Worth right after this.
Powerful stuff.
Hey, let's put on my chicken suit and go to the TCU game. Sounds great. 30-16, TCU on top. The dancing chicken in the house, not to be confused with the San Diego chicken. John Sciambi, Fran Fraschilla, Chris Button here from
Did they retire?
Schollmeyer Arena.
Did they retire the San Diego Chicken?
A while ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was like the first great mascot.
No doubt. Felt like he kind of got overtaken by the Philly fanatic, but that just that might be my bias.
That's your East Coast bias.
There's no question.
Yeah.
My Philly bias.
Your Philly bias.
Yep. Here's James Bolden, mentioned coming off that 31-point burst. The amazing thing, I always love stuff like this. Not only did he have 2 in the first half and finish with 31, none the game before.
I know, and that's the thing that drives you crazy. He's a guy that was such a great compliment to Miles and Carter as that scorer, either off the bench or as that third scorer when they enter guards. Good hustle right there by Logan Rout. And he has had a difficult time creating his own shot opportunities, in part because they haven't had good point guard play.
Right.
And so there's been a lot of burden on that guy, but he can put points on the board. Nice.
Good ball movement right there, and it ends up with the dunk from Samuel.
Yeah. Big Kevin Samuel gets better and better. He redshirted last year for academic reasons.
Ahmad to the basket. Rahees Ahmad not in the starting lineup, but playing as he and Wesley Harris sat out in their last game. That was a loss. Against Oklahoma State. Bain, rule off balance. Rebound pulled down by Haley. Here come the Mountaineers. Bolden spin it, gets inside, scoops it up and in.
Nicely done. He wanted a foul, but he got the 2.
No doubt. And now it's a 9-point game, 4:44 to go. West Virginia on a 10-2 run. Go back to start with the Horned Frogs, though. That ball movement, impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Little back cut right here. Dump off to the big fella. And then West Virginia will give them a chance, give themselves a chance to get back in this game if they just take care of the ball and get some field goal attempts. And there you see little Beetle Bolden out of Covington, Kentucky. He's a prolific scorer at Holmes Catholic. He's had some great moments in his career at West Virginia. He's, to me, when he's on, he's like one of the best tough shot makers in the Big 12. Can score with a hand in his face.
Let me ask you this. How, and again, I know that Teddy Allen's a guy that at times he and Bob Huggins bumped heads a bit, but you know, Teddy Buckets was a guy that could help them offensively from time to time. Would he have been helpful? No. Okay.
No, because you still need someone to get the ball to Teddy Allen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then he would sometimes keep both teams in the game.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
I mean, would he help on a game-to-game basis? Maybe, but
I understand you.
Yeah.
And Miller knocks down the shot. And the lead back up to a dozen.
You hate that when you're trying to make a comeback and a guy that makes 22% from 3 knocks it in on you. But JD's done that throughout his career.
Robinson up ahead of the pack, slowing down.
Always has his eyes up. Always surveying. I like it. I like that. That's so good. Shot fake. Get him in the air. He's in no man's land. A-Rob will shoot a couple.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
On ESPN and Lakers and Rockets, 8:30 on ABC, and then at 10 cap off the evening with UFC Fight Night main event. Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw, only available on ESPN Plus.
TJ Dillashaw, the former Cal Fullerton Titan. He wrestled there for a while. Had an outstanding high school wrestling career, and then he decided to get into the mixed martial arts world. You know, that fight's going to happen about 4 miles from my house. And
oh, from where you grew up in
yeah,
Brooklyn?
Yeah. We had a lot of those kind of fights in my neighborhood. And nobody got paid. While I was out shooting buckets.
Yeah. And good little Franny was just smiling away. Yeah, okay. Harris looking for some space. Bolden catch and shoot and one.
You know what? That was the best set play of the night. Coming out of the timeout. Beetle Bolden hid behind the screen. Little misdirection, and then he got a good, watch this. This is good. See him hanging out down there? Comes off the screen, a little late. Davis fouls him. Bolden knocks it down. Good example of what I was talking about. Tough shot maker.
James Beetle Bolden. Grandma gave him that name when he was born prematurely. She said Beetles are little but strong.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's played that way.
No doubt.
Throughout his career. He's had some big moments. He's the all-time three-point shooting leader at West Virginia, over 40%.
He's got 8 in the last 250. Remember, started the game with those 2 quick fouls.
What do you think of bringing him back? Made sense, right?
Very much so. You and I are on the same page on that one. We talked about it before.
Yes.
Kick out. Robinson hoists and hits.
Well, they went zone. Ball got inside. Drew some defenders. Kick out. Robinson, among the things he does that are underrated is he can knock down that open shot.
Route inside. Goes left hand. Leaves a little short. And then a foul inside. I believe they got... Now they got Issa Ahmad. They were saying J.D. Miller for a moment. It'll be Issa Ahmad, and that will be his second. Ahmad, who sat last game. Senior from Cleveland.
J.D. Miller, you know who went to his high school, Seagerville? Well, Marcus Aldridge.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course Donald Sloan as well, who had a terrific
Texas
career.
A&M.
Yeah, NBA, China. I think he's back in the NBA this year. He was early in the year. And JD's had a solid career. Trent Johnson did a good job of leaving a good nucleus behind, and obviously Jamie's built on it.
Well, they tried the lob for Haley. Ahmad really was not defended or contested, and that pass was just terrible.
Yeah.
11th turnover on the Mountaineers. Bob Huggins' team down by 15. Closing on 2.5 to go here in the first half. John Chomby, Fran Fraschilla, Chris Button. Kick to the corner. And Mylan able to knock it down.
That's the favorite spot of his cousin. Kawhi Noy, that left corner. 2 peas in a pod.
Well, part of that increasing trend where you see basketball players and families from different African nations leaving to go to New Zealand or Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, particularly those youngsters from the Sudan. Yep. There you go. Watch the drive, dish, weak side. That's what we call a drive and drift play. That shooter drifts to the deep corner. Usually undefended out there. Well done.
Robinson absolutely pinned, and then Samuel tried to follow, gets fouled. You know, there's what we were talking about, foreign players for TCU.
And watch this. Watch Samuel follow up and look at the. You know what? I was going to say this. Look at the anger he goes to the rim with. He's a really soft-spoken, intelligent kid when you talk to him. What I'm impressed with as a redshirt freshman is the growing confidence. So many times you coach a young big guy, and I've done this, where they put their head down, they hunch over, they don't want to be big.
Sure.
This kid wants to be big. He is big. He's skilled. And again, he's on his way to being one of the best big men in the Big 12. Growing confidence. That's a big thing with guys like this guy.
Bolden had it rejected by Desmond Bain, the bigger player coming in from the side and knocking it out of bounds.
Remember, this not only Jalen Fisher out tonight, but we haven't seen R.J. Nembhard, who's suffering the flu. He warmed up, right?
He did, and was expected to play, and they're thin. I mean,
they don't need him right now.
No, they don't. And so far, Jamie Dixon's played 7 here tonight. And meanwhile, Bob Huggins has played 13.
You know who's happy about playing 7? The 7.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, absolutely.
They like it. Short rotation. We'll take it.
Yeah. Robinson with Bolden on him.
Pick and roll. Indecision. Good defense.
Shot clock winding down. Robinson steps back and gets fouled. And that will be Bolden's 3rd. Picks it up with 1:19 to go here in the first half.
And he should know better. Shot clock running down. It's going to be a low percentage 3. And the one thing you do not want to do if you're Beetle Bolden is you do not want to foul a guy who's about to take a tough shot.
Tomorrow night on ESPN, we get another NBA Wednesday doubleheader. Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors taking on Kyrie Irving and the Celtics. And at 10:30, Anthony Davis and the Pelicans go up against the Warriors. Coverage starts NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. Did you ever see that movie, The Warriors?
No.
Really?
No.
It's good. That's classic. Well, old school New York City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, New York City gangs. You dig it.
Had enough of that growing up.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very middle class section of classic.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Now, West Side Story, that was good.
Oh, goodness. You were 1,000 years old. I cite the Warriors, and all of a sudden the Sharks and Jets are going to rumble tonight. Kick out. And it's Haley trying to set something up. Finds Matthews under 10 of the shot clock. Hyler strong on that one, and it's Robinson.
2 for 1 here, maybe?
That's what he was thinking.
Yep.
Got it blocked.
Yeah. Good length right there by Matthews. I would have shot that if I were Harlow. He was wide open when he caught it. Don't be afraid to shoot 2 in a row.
Harris step back. Short. That one tipped in the air, and eventually it's Bain.
Should be 1 here unless he's got this.
Oh, boy. No call. Trying the Euro step. And now West Virginia will hold for the last shot. So a sloppy final 50 seconds or thereabout. TCU by 22. Ahmad lost the handle briefly, flips it up, wouldn't go, tip wouldn't go, inside, and that'll count. Wesley Harris with the basket. And it's a 20-point advantage for the Horned Frogs at the half. Well, Bob Huggins' team has had a tough time to begin conference play. Here tonight, it's been all TCU. Here's Jamie Dixon with her own Chris Button.
Coach, how have you been able to hold the Mountaineers to just 28 points that first half?
Well, we really tried to pressure the ball and really take away their three-point shooting. And then they're a team that gets the shots going, the threes going, they can be really dangerous. So that was been our goal, and we've done a good job of it.
You've gotten your shots going, shooting nearly 50%. What have you liked on the offensive side?
You know, we just want to spread the floor and allow our guards to penetrate. That's Alex, that's Kendrick in there too, and Desmond's done a good job. So you get stops, you get some transition opportunities.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
TCU leading at the break 48-28. Coming up, stay tuned. Adnan
basketball team. Who am I? I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm here with Darla Robertson, Alex's mom. First off, what have you thought of the first half so far? What have you thought of the first half so far?
I think they played good. I think they adjusted well to what coach is trying to do. So I think they're going to do okay.
You know what you're talking about, having played here back in the 80s, and you used to coach your son. So how often do you guys break down game film, and do you give him some advice?
Well, I tried to give him advice when he first started playing college, and he made it kind of clear, Mom, I have like 7 coaches that I have to listen to. So I tried just to be a mom. Unless he asks me something, then I'll say something.
That's good advice. Having him close to home now, what is it meant to be able to be at his games and be able to see him so often?
Oh, it's amazing to be able to watch your kid play. I mean, I know so many parents have to travel or have to watch him on TV because it's not the same as being actually in the venue where you can actually watch him play.
He wears the number you wore back in the day. What was that conversation like when he picked his number?
There was no conversation. Yeah, you know, when he came to college, where he picked, you know, what he wanted to do, majored in, etc., that was all on him. That was, you know, I said, hey, I had my time, it's your time now. I'll just support you, whatever you want to do. It was a total surprise when he came up with that number.
That's awesome. Very flattering. Well, I appreciate the time. She says, guys, that she doesn't get nervous watching him anymore, but I'll let you enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you, Darla.
Thank you so much.
And played at TCU the same period that Jamie Dixon was playing at TCU and coached Alex at TCU basketball camp. And there's a look at Darla when she was playing for the women's team here. And a shot of young Alex Robinson. Again, started his career his freshman year, was at Texas A&M.
He transferred here. He was going to play for Trent Johnson.
Yep.
And the coaching change was sort of fortuitous anyway because, you know, Jamie had already known his mom and his former athletes here at TCU. It's worked out very, very well.
Noy from the corner. It's been an inconsistent shooting night for Noy, who's coming off that amazing 30-point performance, including 8 threes in the loss at Oklahoma.
It's interesting, John. They lost at Kansas in a game that went down essentially to the wire. They lost a one-point game at the buzzer to Oklahoma. They're 12-3, and they haven't played their best basketball yet because of some of the injuries. This is a team that is certainly headed towards an NCAA bid if everything stays on track. A lot of weapons.
Robinson looking for some help, lost the handle briefly.
What I like about him, he's always under control in the paint.
Absolutely.
He stops, he turns, and he pivots.
Shot clock under 10. Robinson hoists and hits. And one of the things you and I have talked about is how the college game mirrors the NBA. You see more and more guys, not toes on the line three-point shooting, but three-point shooting from 2, 3, 4, 5 feet behind the line.
Well, and Haley just got surprised because of that. You know, Haley thought he's not going to shoot it from 25 feet, and he did.
Yep.
I saw a stat that Villanova made 75% of their threes last year outside the NBA line.
Wow.
And a lot of teams are going to that because it's really not that much of a, there's no difference in terms of the percentage. It actually helps if you are open.
Well, it helps with spacing. It's one of the biggest components. And inside, nice look. And the bucket for J.D. Miller, and Robinson at it again
Yeah, right now just carving up that West Virginia defense.
An 8-0 run. And the lead is 26. Meanwhile, the West Virginia side, Mountaineers trying to find their way, trying to avoid dropping to 0-5 in conference. Bolden. Harris scoops up the loose change and puts it in.
If you're West Virginia right now, you can't get it back all at once. You got to get some offensive rhythm.
And a foul on West Virginia.
Watch this, John. Always under control. He recognizes there's a little indecision. Two defenders come to the ball. No rotation. Finds the open man.
Yeah.
It's like blitzing Tom Brady. Yeah, I mean, because he's seen it all, Robinson. He's seen every defense, and there's a guy that doesn't normally miss that shot. But you think about it, traps should bother some average players, but a trap, 2 on the ball, means that Robinson has 4 guys to find versus 3 defenders, and he usually does.
Samuel, the handoff, jumper, Robinson. And a rebound pulled down by Latmayan.
I like that. He had nothing underneath, just dribbled it out.
Yeah.
They get a fresh 24. See that jump stop? Under control.
Baines jumper, nice shot.
Another assist.
Bain rips it away from Harris. TCU the other way. Bain steamrolls to the basket and one. Got a chance to turn this into a 30-point game.
Yeah, and as sharp as TCU has been to start the second half, there's just a look of resignation right now on the Mountaineers. They're not used to this. It's like, what's hit us? I think sometimes when you wear that jersey, whether it's West Virginia or North Carolina or Villanova, you forget that a lot of hard work went into winning with guys that came before you.
Yeah.
And my sense is that there are guys out here playing that don't understand what toughness and hard work is. Because this is not a Bob Huggins type of team. It's just not. And it can be cured with experience. I think the coaching staff's got to get on the road and find some guys that want to play with the toughness of Tariq Phillip and Jayshawn Page and Carter and Gary Brown. Not a lot of it here, in my opinion.
And I get you. I mean, I know that it translates that way, but I do, there's a talent component of just, taking care of the basketball. And some guys are going to do it better, make better decisions, are more skilled.
Yes. There's talent out here. Guys like that guy. Culver's going to be a very good player. Matthews shows some signs. But it's like having a great offensive line with no skill players.
Yeah.
No wide receivers and no running back. See the jump stop?
Inside, and there's Noy from Robinson. He finds you every single time.
I said this on a broadcast recently. He's very much like Jalen Brunson was at Villanova. He's very comfortable in the paint. Look at this.
Noy, the feint and the throwdown. And TCU absolutely blitzing West Virginia. Steal into 3 wouldn't go.
Look at that hustle.
And there is Mayan. Bain again. Wouldn't go, and Ahmad the rebound. Bob Huggins got to be frustrated with what he's seeing here tonight. Bolden goes behind the back, feeding inside. And Matthews goes down hard. In a rough night for the Mountaineers on the road.
The marriage was built to last.
You are so awesome.
Me you love with no long-term contracts. Stop paying too much for TV. Watch 7 days free at slingtv.com.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
Now, cool thing at halftime here at Schollmeyer Arena. Unified Sports, dedicated to promoting social inclusion through shared sports training and competition experiences. Special Olympics Unified Sports joins people with and without intellectual disabilities on the same team. And a reminder, the 2019 Special Olympic World Games will take place March 14th through the 21st in Abu Dhabi and will be broadcast on ABC and ESPN.
I love that. I got a chance to be involved in Special Olympics in the state of New Mexico, and just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for those young men and women to compete in various athletic realms. And this young man from the foul line, Matthews, he originally committed to UConn and Kevin Ollie. And then when they made a coaching change, he was on the open market, ended up in Morgantown by way of Tacoma, Washington, where that's where his hometown is. Good looking athlete. Probably a kid that's going to get more and more playing time as we get closer to the end of this season.
Emmett Matthews Jr. And again, just a freshman. They beat the pressure, kick up ahead, and a hard foul from Harris.
And again, if you're airborne this year, the basketball rules committee is very into player safety. So a foul on an airborne player with the kind of intent right there is going to usually be officiated as at least a flagrant one. Now he does play the ball, but it's a hard foul, and because he's airborne this season particularly, they're going to make this it is a point of emphasis.
Yeah, he went down hard. It's hard with that angle, and they did call it an intentional foul, but I'm not sure that he didn't get mostly ball.
John, this year he did, but this year when that player is airborne and there's a foul, and it was a foul, and you're right, but this year particularly they want to take that play out of the game, because once he's in the air right now, he's almost defenseless. So in the past, you're exactly right. This actually, they're not going to, I doubt this is a flagrant 2, but it's the kind of play this year they could call a flagrant 2. This should be very easy. They ought to get through this quickly. This, to me, this is at least a flagrant 1. Play on, shoot the free throws, take out the ball. But because that guy's in the air this year, they want to make sure.
Yeah, from a safety standpoint,
yes,
they don't,
so.
Absolutely, they don't want the player to get hurt. So it'll be Harris.
The fact that they're looking at this might mean that it's a flagrant 2.
Okay.
Because it's at least a flagrant 1. I don't think there's any question. There's no way. I'd be shocked if they downgrade this.
Well, Ray Natilli crossed the arms immediately, so I mean.
Well, no, they can go to the monitor to downgrade. And just the fact that he's in the air, I think, is going to make it a flagrant foul. I think that's a classic flagrant 1. Now, is it a flagrant 2? That's what I think they're figuring out now.
So Harris awaits.
And they're going to, this is a judicial conference right here.
John Higgins, Ray Natilli, Marcus Pettigrew having the chat and deciding what they're going to end up doing. I have a hard time with a flagrant 2 there.
I would not be shocked if it's a flagrant 2.
Yeah, I know.
You know, this game's over. You know, in many ways, unless we have a miracle comeback, and they may just want to answer to their bosses in Indianapolis. We are going to get the word shortly.
Flagrant one. All right.
Yep. I believe that was the right call.
Well, the good news is that Lat Maton came out of that okay. He was holding that left hip, but he told me today this is the first time that he's felt 100% healthy. He's been going through the knee injury. He had surgery on a meniscus that just never really felt right. Then he had a bone bruise. Told me it's been extremely frustrating because he'd try and play and then the pain would come back. But he said a week ago, warming up against Kansas, he knew he was 100% and was excited to be out here today. So good news that he didn't get injured on that fall either.
No doubt. He still wears that sleeve on the left leg. Wearing at number 11, Lat Maton.
He's going to get,
cousin Kawat Noy.
We'll see more playing time as the year goes on. They lost Uat Alak, JUCO transfer, who has left the team after a broken wrist.
Bad spacing there. Two players going after the same ball. And out of bounds turnover and West Virginia basketball. Mountaineers have turned it over 16 times, only the 7th for TCU, but it's a 30-point game.
Yep, I'll be curious to the analytics. 16 times in just a little over 25 minutes is a lot of turnovers. Harris is shooting the ball much better this year. And right now, it's important for West Virginia to establish a little bit of toughness. They've been playing defense tonight in the tuxedo, and that's unlike Mountaineers. That's good hustle.
Wow. Davis said it knocked away Bain, and it ends up with the Mountaineers. It's Matthews the other way. Little hesitation.
That's got to be a foul call.
And Ahmad with the bucket.
Yeah, that's got to be. I've seen that lately. That's either got to be a block or charge. I don't think he flopped. I think there was legitimate contact there. I'm seeing too much of that play being let go.
To the corner, Mayan. And a rebound by Matthews. And a foul on the Horned Frogs.
Let's go back and watch this now. These officials have done a good job tonight. This is a tough game to officiate. You see that right arm extended, and that's got to me, that's got to be a call regardless of whether this is a 25-point game.
Bolden to inbound. All TCU here tonight in Fort Worth. McCabe not able to hit.
Good call.
Agreed.
Yep.
Offensive foul on Robinson. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. You know, this Saturday on ESPN, doubleheader for you. SEC, ACC, 4 Eastern, 12th ranked Kentucky, 14th ranked Auburn, and then at 6, Sonic Blockbuster, top ranked Duke hosts the 4th ranked Virginia Cavaliers. That should be a lot of fun. All right, start with this. And I'm asking the witness, and I'm going to lead the witness. Are you telling me that if I had said to you when we did that Syracuse doubleheader at the Garden, don't worry because they'll beat Duke at Duke, you would have said what to me?
I would have said, did Duke have 2 starters out?
Yeah.
And of course, the big news is that Trey Jones's absence will be indefinite, according to Coach K, and that's a huge loss. I think if he's back in the next 3 weeks, it actually makes their team stronger for the March run, because more guys are going to be involved in making plays. RJ's going to have to handle the ball. Goldwire, the backup point guard, because they really don't have a true backup other than Goldwire.
Right.
I think it'll help their team, but if you tell me that Trey Jones may not play for a longer time in 3 or 4 weeks, then I think Duke's in trouble. I think Virginia was the best team in the ACC even before this.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
And I don't know how you couldn't think otherwise. They've got a 3-time defending regular season champ, veteran team, great, best defense in the country. Although Texas Tech right there with them. It's going to be fun. That's why we play these games, and it's early in conference play.
Yeah, Virginia's just a really good team.
Yeah, but you saw them. You've seen them in New York and other places. Take a look right there.
So you got Michigan unbeaten at 17-0, Virginia 15-0.
Yeah.
And right now, Virginia Tech and Virginia squaring off.
That best win at Villanova is a little deceiving, because Villanova was 8 at the time.
Right.
And now they're hovering in the top 25, but they've gotten better. That's a team that, despite losing 4 NBA players, is getting better and better. Culture.
Shot clock winding down. Robinson fires. Too strong to Bain to put back.
That guy knows how to score. He dropped it about 2000 in high school.
Jumper wouldn't go. Foul inside on the Horned Frogs. Well, Desmond Bain can score in myriad ways. He's got 10 in the second half. How about this putback?
Yeah, not only myriad of ways, John, a lot of different ways, too. Take a look right here.
In Fort Worth, John Chomby, Fran Fraschilla, and Chris Button. And all TCU, 11:46 to go. 28-point advantage. West Virginia in danger of falling to 0-5 in conference. Fran Fraschilla, it's been a while since that happened.
Absolutely. The final season of Gail Cadlett's run at West Virginia, and then they were looking for a coach. They hired a guy named Dan Dockich, who took the job for about a week, maybe a little longer. Decided to go back to Bowling Green. He later found him a great career in broadcasting, and they hired John Beilein. So Dan Dockich is now the most influential coach in West Virginia history, because if he didn't turn the job down, they wouldn't have hired Beilein. Right? That's how I look at it. Of course, Dan's career has skyrocketed for sure.
We get a chance to work together in the Bahamas.
Good sign.
29-point advantage. And down the other end, West Virginia able to answer.
Another tough shot by Beadle.
Mayan lost the handle briefly.
Well, this guy's been dropping dimes all night long. Take a look right here. This is how you're second in the country in assists. We talked about the vision. He knows where everybody is and usually finds the right guy.
You might see the no-look dish on SportsCenter. Who knows? Following Notre Dame, UNC on ESPN. Kenny May, John Anderson. Tim Legner will join the show to break down the Warriors and the Nuggets. Reactions from Philly after Jimmy Butler. The Sixers take on the T-Wolves, and how Breeze and Brady keep turning back the clock. SportsCenter, 11 Eastern, ESPN.
You know who's playing really well for the Denver Nuggets? Our old friend Monte Morris from Iowa State. Yep. He's earned it, played in the G League. He's got a long-term deal now, at least. For somebody who was the 51st pick in the NBA draft, another guy that was hiding in plain sight. Got to give Seth Greenberg credit, because he doesn't see the Big 12 as much as we do. But he said about Monte his sophomore season, he was the best point guard in America.
Wow.
And we had a chance to see him so often. We saw the attributes.
I mean, at a basic level, I think that the thing that always jumped out is for a guy to be on the court that much, to be handling the ball that much, to turn it over that infrequently every year, was pretty incredible. I mean, he always had the ball in his hands.
Yes.
You see plenty of guys who don't turn it over, put up, that don't have it in their hands as much.
And then he started scoring.
Yeah, that's right.
Then he started scoring, and he still ran the team.
Up ahead, and good work as Davis is able to find Samuel.
Now, the pick and roll coverages tonight by the Mountaineers certainly have to be worked on. This is a pick and roll heavy team, TCU, and it's not just Robinson. We saw the freshman Davis.
Fight for that loose ball. Robinson comes away with it. Little hesitation. Robinson inside and draws the contact.
And here's another example. Take a look now. Kendrick Davis comes off the screen. Culver shows. He doesn't get back in time. And it's not his fault. If he's going to show those wing defenders, you got to see blue jerseys in the paint. Too easy to get that run to the rim. That's what we call tagging the roll man. You got to step. That's what I mean by playing in a tuxedo. There's no dirty work. There's no hard hat effort out there.
I don't know why you're judging the people who wear tuxedos. I mean, you can, yeah.
I don't. You own a tuxedo?
I do not.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I rent mine.
I used to, then I got fat.
I never needed one. I never get invited to anything.
Oh, that is, you are America's guest. That is a whopper. You get invited.
I don't get invited to any place that needs a tuxedo.
Okay, I'll buy that. You get some invites though, where you could wear a sweatsuit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Regal pajamas.
That's Regal pajamas.
Regal pajamas.
I like Regal pajamas.
Well, I don't have Regal pajamas.
Well, Regal pajamas would be a sweatsuit, right?
The interesting thing right here is Jamie Dixon doesn't have a lot of guys to sub in.
I mean, he's played 7 most of this game. They'll set it back up. Napper now. All right, so Franny, let me ask you, you're coaching in a game like this. Take both sides. It's hard not to lose your focus a little bit if you're TCU and turn it into let's have some fun.
Right.
And then it's hard not to be defeated on the West Virginia side. So take both angles quickly. So what are you trying to accomplish?
So with your TCU right now, you want to continue to play sharp. You don't have to put the gas pedal, you don't have to step on the pedal. They can manipulate this game and slow it down, but you don't want to play sloppy. And for West Virginia, we'll tease it. We'll tell you what I think on the other side.
So much that. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
Well, Saturday, a huge sports day on the ESPN family of networks. Thunder and Sixers kick it off 3:30 Eastern on ABC, and then ESPN. As good a matchup as you'll have all year. Number 4, Virginia. Number 1, Duke. UFC Fight Night comes your way 8 Eastern on ESPN. Little hoops at 8:30 for the Lakers and the Rockets. And then Cejudo and Dillashaw, our Fight Night main event. And the chicken will not be there. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, Chris Button here in Fort Worth. It's been all TCU here tonight.
Sure has. Yep. Shot it well. Robinson distributing it. And this West Virginia team, Bob Knight used to say the game of basketball, the mental is the physical as 4 is to 1. And what he was trying to say, very, I think, appropriately, is sometimes it's not about your physical ability, it's your mental approach. And this is a West Virginia team that almost beat Texas Tech at home to start the season in the Big 12. They lost a couple games where they felt they could have won. And then you start, it drives you mentally, John. It wears you down. And right now, this is a team that's worn down mentally. The skill level is there to make a run.
Tyler inside. All right, so Let's talk. You teased it going to break in a game like that. I mean, it's 26 points with closing in on 7 minutes to go. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do?
Pride, effort, you know, cut into it. You know, maybe you lose by 15. You know, you just don't. If you play hard for 40 minutes for 35 nights a year, you're still going to have games where you don't play your best and you lose. I don't think this West Virginia team has played hard tonight for the entire time. So play hard, play with pride. They've shown there have been moments this year that they've played well. And you're not going to win. So let's just try to cut the lead down and get back to playing the way West Virginia wins. This guy can get it out of him. He's got a challenge.
ESPN. Saturday at 6 on ESPN.
Well, Desmond Bain has been a big part of the TCU attack tonight. He could score in a bunch of different ways.
Really does. Plays with effort. He's great downhill in transition. The outside shooting has been superb throughout his career, and he plays well with others, particularly Alex Robinson, one of the best backcourts in the Big 12. He's a junior, so he's going to have another year and a half to finish out what has already been the start of a great career here. Richmond, Indiana.
He is strong.
Yeah, he is.
I mean,
he really
just a
is.
strong guard.
It's the home of Earlham College. Richmond, Indiana. Just wanted you to know that.
Okay, thank you. More on Bain. Here's Chris.
Yeah, putting on a show in front of some family and friends. I met his uncle before the game. They've taken a road trip that started at the Kansas game. Then they went to Oklahoma. They came here, and then they're going to go to Kansas State after this. So a nice long road trip. Nice to have a good night in front of friends.
That's a serious road trip, by the way. Looks like following Fran Fraschilla around.
I'm going to be pretty busy next week or so, and I like it. I'm going to be driving all over the Great Plains. There's the block by the big fellow, Loopy. They call him Loopy down on the island of Barbuda. I'm going to have to do some detective work, but he goes as Big Loopy.
Okay.
That's his Twitter handle, too.
Ill-advised pass there. Harler turns it over. Under 6 to go. All TCU here tonight. Let's go big picture in this conference, Fran. Again, Kansas is the team with, you know, the target on their back, but right now it's Texas Tech in first place.
Yes.
Who wins the Big 12?
Well, I would say, first of all, because we're only 4 games in, these are all snapshots because a lot of it depends on who you've played and where
you
played.
Are you cranking up the excuse machine?
Nope,
I mean, let's go.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Look at that conference. Had Kansas lost last night, every team in this league but Texas Tech would have 2 losses or more.
Yep.
So first of all, enjoy the balance in the league because you're going to have a lot of teams beating each other. I don't think this might be the least talented Kansas team that I can think of under Bill Self. And yet, I still think the road goes through Lawrence. Oh, this is cool. But I want to just say this. I think Texas Tech is, I think Texas Tech has a legitimate chance to win this league. It's going to be dependent on those 2 games in February.
Going to Sherris checking in, and we documented his story yesterday. They played a little joke on it, brought a police officer in to make him think he was in some trouble. Instead, they let him know that he is on scholarship, a former walk-on for this semester. Pretty cool. And now checks into the game. He can shoot it a little bit. And the dunk there by Culver. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, Robinson in a 30-point game effectively still out there with 5 minutes to go, but they're thin. I mean, that's the bottom line. And right now they got Nemhard out with the flu, and then Fisher is out indefinitely.
Yeah, and I think Robinson is going to be more of a facilitator down the stretch. A jump ball right here. Fans wanted to foul, but Owen said, give me that rock. I'm going to earn my scholarship. I'll show you. It's a great story. You know, these guys who are walk-ons who get scholarships, they work hard every day, and they're really appreciated by their teammates.
Now, this is what we mentioned. This was yesterday. Post-practice, police officer came in and said, is there an Owen Asheris? Need to talk to you, ask you a couple of questions. Pops up.
He didn't pay his parking tickets.
And they were all in on it.
You know, I'm going to say this to you. Never said this. You can tell a lot about a coach by how he treats his walk-ons. Okay? And it's just like a baseball manager. You can tell a lot about a baseball manager by how he treats the 25th guy. I honestly think you can tell a lot about a coach and his character about how he treats his walk-ons, because those guys bring it every day. They get run over. They make practice better. And the teammates love them because they know how hard they work without a lot of reward.
Turnover there. It'll go the other way. And Asheris picks it up. Toss up. For Miller. All Horned Frogs here. Holden not able to hit, and eventually.
Play here. I think down the stretch it'll be no autopsy, no foul if officials can help it. But nice time right there.
30-point game. TCU trying to pick up their second conference win. Technical foul called on the West Virginia bench.
I have no explanation other than that in a 20-some-odd 30-point game, if I were the official, John Higgins, who's one of the best, I would stay away from the bench.
Yeah.
You know? And then that's nice. That's really cool.
So Asheris knocks down the free throw. A chance at the second.
That's not easy, because you're out there all by yourself. You might as well be in your underwear. And he went up and made 2 free throws. Seriously, nobody ever practices that. Nobody ever practices free throws with no one on the line and about 5,000 people in the stands.
I don't know why anybody's in their underwear shooting free throws. I mean,
well, it's just, you know.
I get it.
Yeah. Move on.
Moving on. All right, Bob. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla here in Fort Worth.
You haven't called me Dan once tonight.
Yeah. Well, I got to be locked in. I've worked with so many. I've had you. I've had Fraschilla. I've had Dockich. I've had Stan Van Gundy. Who else have I had? This Jay Billis.
That was good with Stan. That was fun.
My man.
Yeah. Great insight. Former college head coach.
Yeah, at Wisconsin.
Well, at Castleton State, I think, right? Assistant coach at Fordham. Trey Dooms. They took his red shirt off a couple games ago. Young man from Georgia, went to high school in Florida. His high school teammate last year was Vernon Carey, who will be attending Duke University. One of the top 3 to 4 players in the country. I'm not exactly sure where our great staff, being party and the staff have him ranked, but I think he's in the top 4. Big kid, monster. Trey played with him last year at University School in the Fort Lauderdale area. Jimmy Carr is the coach down there, one of the coaches, a New Jersey guy.
Jones again, can't finish, but he'll go to the line.
And they took his red shirt off. We've seen that happen a couple times now. Ochai Agbaji at Kansas. Just looking for some athleticism in the backcourt.
Yeah, and TCU TCU, we talked about how thin they are. They've been thinking about it, talking about it with Russell Barlow because he's been dealing with injuries. They could have played him tonight. That would not have cost him his red shirt. I guess it's what, 17 games? Is that the marker?
No, it's 30% of the season. So I think we're past, depending, let's see. Yeah, we might be past the 30% mark now.
Jamie Dixon told me that he could have played tonight and still kept his red shirt.
Well, they got that new football rule, but to me, it's always been about the 30% rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he has not played, so. And Bain back in. Kawat coming out. I mean, that's as great as it gets, that Jamie Dixon giant poster, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. The other thing I like is somebody has a fat head. That's pretty good.
He's got the same suit on. Did they change the suit up there?
And the pocket square? I don't think so.
You know, when Jamie was at Pittsburgh, you know Jamie's the winningest coach in the history of the Big East by percentage.
Okay.
Okay. And when he was at Pittsburgh, and more so in the later years, every now and then he would say, what's going on at TCU? You know, Mountain West. They got a good program. Jamie, they got to fix the arena. They got to build a practice facility. And about 3 years ago, what is it, 3 years, right? He came home.
Yeah.
And they were getting tired of him at Pittsburgh for some inexplicable reason. They were in a new league, ACC. They recruited New York. This place has gobs of money. Gary Patterson, can I tell you something? I drove around campus today. You talk about coaches earning their money and coaches make too much money. Gary Patterson is the reason this campus is booming because football has poured so much money into this campus. The campus is unbelievable.
James Bolden just picked up a technical. And Bolden, by the way, with that tech is fouled out.
And we may be looking at a new designated free throw shooter for TCU.
Yep.
If this young man makes his fourth in a row. Good conversation.
John Higgins and Bob Huggins having a little chat there momentarily, and John Dell walking away from him. But look, to finish up, I mean, the way the success of a sports team or a coach can invigorate an entire school. You know, our roots are both in the Northeast.
Right.
Two things, schools I think of, at both Catholic schools, but Doug Flutie invigorated the application process for Boston College in a way that was almost unprecedented. And then as well, Villanova winning in 1985. I mean, applications just went through the roof.
I think coaches, by and large, earn their money. You know, it's a lifespan is not as long as having a, civil service job. I get it. You know, coaches are doing what they love. But whatever Gary Patterson is making or Nick Saban, it's crazy because it's actually worth it for a university. And they wouldn't be in the Big 12 if it weren't for TCU football. And it's permeated throughout baseball. We got Jim Schlossnagle across the way, great baseball coach, friend of yours. Basketball, women's basketball, Olympic sports. It's amazing, the facilities. And Chris Del Conte gets credit, former AD who's now down in Texas, because this place is fabulous. And it's a great school. Living in Dallas, everybody loves TCU.
Bain knocks it down. What a night for Desmond Bain as he buries that one. He's got 26. His career high, by the way, is 27. Sheriff's not able to hit.
Jamie Dixon looked at him and said, easy, easy, you don't need to take that.
Feed inside. Dooms with the basket. I love somebody down at the other end. They have, remember the bad guy Bane from the Batman movies, played so incredibly by Tom Hardy. So they got the Bane fathead for Desmond. Miller, short. And guess who with the rebound? LaSharis. I mean, they want it. They want 100, and they want LaSharis to come up with a field goal.
They're trying to get back into a zone, too.
That was in the NCAA tournament. That was the last time. That was a Beeline coach team, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I think that was Kevin Pitznagel's group, wasn't it?
Yeah. They won that game. Chris Paul was, remember Chris Paul? He's had a pretty good NBA.
Familiar with his work.
Yeah, he was in that game. Like the athleticism of Dooms, getting a chance.
Jamie Dixon's team up by 33.
Well, TCU baseball opens February 15th, John.
Yeah, they're playing in a tournament out in Arizona. It was originally Jim Schlossnagel checking out his phone.
Getting text right now. They're talking about you on
That's
TV.
Right. Been to College World Series 5 times. He has taken this and turned it into one of the elite baseball programs in all of college baseball. They're preseason top 25. They're playing in a tournament with Vanderbilt and Virginia and Cal State Fullerton. I mean, those 4 teams as good as it gets in college baseball. And the Big 12 in college baseball is elite. Texas Tech is always good. Baylor will be good this year. Oklahoma State, coached by Josh Holliday, they will be very good.
Yeah, Tech. I think the Red Raiders are 3 going into the season.
Vanderbilt preseason #1.
Well,
this one tonight, all TCU. West Virginia is going to fall to 0-5 in conference and 8-9 overall. McCabe can't hit. And that'll do it. 98-67 the final. Big night for Desmond Bane, one off his career high with 26. And Jamie Dixon's team gets even in the conference at 500, 2-2. 98-67 the final. For Fran Fraschilla, Chris Button, and our entire outstanding crew, I'm John Sciambi saying so long from Fort Worth. And now we send it out to David